It made me think about the news earlier today that Diego Costa is
Yes.
available on a free. His contract has been terminated at Atletico Madrid. My first thought was there's not a club in the Premier League that wouldn't take him. And then I saw an Arsenal fan tweet, do not want him anywhere near our club. A Spurs fan said, don't want him near our club because he's ex-Chelsea, which is a little bit weird, bearing in mind Mourinho's the manager. So it's... in fact, that was you. So... but
you can't help me like that.
I mean, I think Man City could do with him. Liverpool, I don't know. They don't need him, really. I mean, they've got some decent alternatives, although Jota is out injured. But realistically, if he was in the starting lineup of any Premier League club, I don't think he'd be a bad fit. Do you?
I think he fits a certain team and a certain club. I think for me, Wolves is the perfect answer.
Well, it's the agent thing, isn't it? Mendes is the agent.
They got the link. Jimenez is obviously injured. I'm not having Fabio Silva at the minute. He's too young to be playing as a number 9 for Wolves. There's too much to carry. So I think bringing in someone like Diego Costa would be perfect for them. It's just whether they could get him and pay the wages. But I don't know if I'd have him at Spurs. I don't think we need him. I don't think we need him at Spurs. You know, we've got Harry Kane, who's in good form. He's fit this season. You know, we've signed Vinicius, who looks a decent prospect when he's playing and getting involved. And you can also play Son up there as well. So I don't think he's a player that I would potentially have in our team. But Jose Mourinho would like him, I think. Would like him because he's horrible.
Yeah.
And he knows how to get about and he can make things happen. If you played Harry Kane as a 10... You know, because he drops so deep at the minute anyway, you could play Diego Costa up front, you know, as the 9. So, don't know.
He's 32, Diego Costa. So if you're thinking he's too old, then I think that's possibly wrong. Obviously, he was brilliant in the Premier League for Chelsea. Let's face it, he was exceptional. And I think as a leader and somebody who scares opponents simply by being on the team sheet, he still has that factor as well. But there's a reason, there has to be a reason why Simeone didn't want him anymore. And I know they've got...
We haven't played this season at all, has he?
They've got
3 games.
Felix and you know, and he's been sensational. So, but that will be the only doubt in my mind. Well, if he isn't, and I know they're going for it this season, Atletico Madrid, but if he's not getting a game there, would he be good enough for one of those top sides? I mean, I look at Arsenal, I see the lack of leaders that they've got, even though he named, 4 captains at the start of the season. Yeah. None of them are captains, really, or they certainly don't look like they've been captains. And again, they get a result against Chelsea and they've been reborn, apparently. But we know that the latest catastrophe is round the corner. We all know that. But we do, don't we? I mean, but there's almost too much pressure on Aubameyang. And I look at his stats. Yeah. In 2 full seasons, he's got 22 Premier League goals, both seasons. I think he got 10 in 13 games in his half season before that, which was phenomenal. And this season, it just hasn't worked at all. He hasn't looked half the player that he has been in previous seasons. So maybe that's just too much pressure for him to carry. He's not that kind of individual. If you bring in a Costa and play them together up front, dare I say Arteta play a 4-4-2, I mean, that looks like it could be amazing.
You're not going to play a 4-4-2, though. I can't see it.
Of course not, no.
You know, if he played a 3-4-3, you could play Aubameyang off the left with Diego Costa and Lacazette. You know, I think that's a frightening front three if you're talking about top players. I think it would be good for them. I think you're right in terms of leadership qualities. He would possess that. He would do the horrible graft, which I think Arsenal have lacked massively this season. You saw when the young lads come in, they put in a shift, they worked hard, they grafted. If you can add someone who's more with a bit more quality and a bit more experience, who's going to do that as well, then it would be a plus. It'd be a good fit.
Yeah.
He wouldn't get in Spurs' team. He'd get in Arsenal's team.
You sure he wouldn't get in? I mean, really? I mean, the Bale thing hasn't worked out at all.
Oh, the Bale... I mean, I don't want to say too much about it because it was a massive sort of deal to get Gareth Bale back to the football club. But if you're going on the fact of probably the wages that we're paying out and the performances and the time that he's actually getting on the pitch, you'd have to say it's been a bit of a failure. He hasn't produced really what we was all expecting. Spurs fans need to completely get out of their head that you're ever going to see the old Gareth Bale at Spurs. That player's just not that player anymore.